This is Spirit Warrior, Book 2 in the Spirit Pass series, by S.E. Smith. Read by Samantha Cook. Chapter 1. Montana, 1867. Jacob Tucker pulled back on the reins of his horse and studied the narrow cut of the pass. A shiver ran down his spine as his eyes moved up the jagged rock entrance. He had been up in these mountains numerous times before, but had never come across this narrow pass. That really didn't mean much. The mountains were filled with things you could walk or ride right by and never see. Jacob looked over his shoulder and nodded silently to his twin brother, Jonathan. His brother had felt the change as well. Something was definitely unusual about the pass they were riding through. Jacob turned back around, lost in thought as he replayed the events leading up to the small group being here. If he thought their lives had changed since a stubborn, unusual female suddenly appeared, it was nothing compared to what it was about to. His eyes flickered to the stranger sitting slightly ahead of him and his brother. Billy Cloudrunner, he thought as he stared at Billy's back. This was one Indian unlike any he had met. Hell, the man riding on Jonathan's horse was unlike any man he'd ever seen before. He spoke, but Jacob only understood about every 3 words or so, and it wasn't because he was speaking Lakota. No, Billy was speaking English, but it wasn't any English words Jacob had ever heard before. He was talking about things like night vision goggles, trucks, and something called Monday Night Football on television. Billy turned in his saddle where he was leading the small group and gave him a crooked grin. The crookedness might have been partially due to the swelling in his jaw where Jonathan had hit him. Still, there was a wry amusement in the man's eye that shouldn't have been there, as if he didn't realize just how much danger he was in. "It gets scarier once you go in," Billy called out, gazing up at the narrow slit. "My old man isn't going to believe me when I tell him I actually went all the way through the pass to the other side and came out in one piece." "How far is it to the other side?" Jacob asked as Jonathan pulled Midnight, the black horse that belonged to his missing wife, up beside him. "I don't know," Billy replied, scratching his left arm. "About a mile or so, I'd say. I was never very good at judging distances." "Let's go," Jonathan snapped as he pulled back so he could take the back. "The longer we wait, the further the men who took Indy will get."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?